Right, next page. First off, firing modes. The firing modes rule for this event is semi-automatic only. Semi-automatic means one trigger pull releases one ball. Okay, that means that no ramping modes are allowed, no response triggers, no burst modes. And obviously no full auto. So one trigger pull, one ball. Nice and easy, same rule for everyone. That means if you've got a tournament gun, you need to make sure that you go into the settings to make sure it's in semi-only mode and that ramping is switched off. Second thing we want to talk about is rate of fire. Even in a semi-only mode, lots of tournament guns will still be able to get a high rate of fire. We want to bring the rate of fire down for this game because obviously, again, being an urban environment, we need less paint flying about in the air or flying through windows at the same time. So the rate of fire is going to be capped for this event at 12 balls per second. So again, this really mainly affects the guys with the tournament guns, is that after putting it in semi-only mode, make sure that you've got a cap of 12 balls per second, particularly if the debounce on your trigger is very low. So to reiterate, semi-only mode, and by that I mean one trigger pull releases one ball and a maximum rate of fire of 12 balls per second. The marshals will have the equipment to check all of this, and they may at times come around and randomly check your equipment. What they'll do by that is they'll approach you and very politely say, "Sir, do you mind handing over your marker?" You must hand over the gun to them, and they'll just check what mode the gun is in, and what rate of fire is firing at, and hand it back to you. Obviously, anyone who's outside of the rules of the game will be asked to leave. Good, that's it, nice and easy. Next thing on this page, overshooting. Again, this is an urban environment. You've got to use your head, okay? This is not a game like in a woodland game where you empty a hopper through a window, through a door. You never know what's on the other side of that. It might be somebody who's knocked their glasses off, or it might be a kid or something like that. So you have to be sensible and you have to play safely. You can play dangerously even if you're within the rules. So I'll give you an example. If the marshals see 6 guys pumping in 300-400 balls each through a window without clearly knowing, or through a doorway knowing what's on the other side, they'll class that as dangerous play. Okay, there might be somebody injured inside, it might be a marshal inside, so you need to be sensible. Overshooting, it used to be a problem years ago. To be honest with you, it hasn't really been a problem for years on end, and lots of people who say they've been overshot generally have just been to blame themselves for a bit of poor play. Overshooting is where you use more paint to shoot a player out than you need to. So it's where you shoot a player 4, 6, 8 times where one ball would have done. If the marshals see that, they'll kick you out of the event straight away. Shoreline are known, particularly for guys who come from outside the UK. UK players will know that we're known for taking a zero tolerance stance to overshooting. So you need to make sure that you're only using the correct number of balls to eliminate an opponent. However, I want to make clear that people understand what overshooting is. If you get hit by 30-40 balls, that doesn't necessarily mean that you've been overshot. Okay, if you break cover, run across a street, run into a building or whatever, in the middle of a massive firefight, there might be 50 or 100 players who will turn and just shoot 1 or 2 balls at you. That might mean that you've been hit by 150 balls. That's not overshooting, that's just crap play from you. Okay, overshooting is where one person maliciously puts more balls into you than they need to. Being hit by 150 balls is not being overshot. That could be 150 people all shooting you once. That generally means that it's poor play on your behalf because you've broken into an area where 150 people have been able to shoot you once. So make sure before you start screaming and whinging and moaning and flying off the handle about being overshot. My marshal team are extremely experienced, and literally, I'm not joking when I say 95% of the time that people complain or whinge, just start screaming about being overshot. 99% of the time is poor play on the player's part. Right, the bottom thing, the thing at the bottom of this page in red is very important. In this game, if you are hit by a paintball, you're out. Whether that paintball is travelling at 250 foot per second, or whether it just dribbles up to your boot. Okay, if you're hit by a paintball, you're out, whether it breaks or not. So bouncers count. There's no such thing as checking yourself, make sure it's not broken and carrying on. If you've been hit with a ball, you're out. This is a massively different rule to what exists in any other games, okay? Apart from urban games, like the Going Postal one, for example. They operate the same rule. This is completely different to any other paintball game. If you're shot with a ball, whether it breaks or not, you are out, okay? So there should be absolutely no paint checking going on at all. You know when you're hit, off you go straight away. Thank you very much.